Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlin, Perkins, and Jim Fowler. In the early days of filming wildlife, as you'll see tonight, researchers had to capture animals in order to observe and learn from them. But that's no longer the case today. Modern technology such as drones and satellite tracking offer new ways to study animals in their natural habitat with less intrusion from human touch. Wild Kingdom set the gold standard for nature programming and introduced generations of young people to the wonders of the natural world. Fortunately, the successful research that began with our original series helped many animals make a comeback from the threat of extinction. And that's good news for the Wild Kingdom. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom is presented by Mutual of Omaha.
Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. An animal roundup is always an exciting event, and Stan Brock and I have been on roundups in just about every part of the world. But the most exciting one of all took place on the remote continent of Australia. In the tropical wilderness of the Northern Territory, known as the Outback, water buffalo roam wild. Their ancestors were brought from Asia 100 years ago by the early pioneers. When the settlement failed and the people moved away, they released about 80 buffalo. These multiplied, and today there are more than 300,000 wild buffalo in Australia. The ranchers hope to capture them and raise them domestically. Stan and I were invited to a ranch called the Goodparla Station to take part in a buffalo roundup.
The cowboys at Goodparla use two methods to capture the wild buffalo. One is simply to chase a cow in an open car until you can get close enough to leap out, grab her by the tail, and pull her off her feet. Then, if you're quick enough, you can rope and tie her before she has chance to stand up. But this method is downright impossible with the big bulls, who are just too strong and mean. For them, we use a lasso on a pole, like this. One end is tethered to the front of the car, while the other is made into a noose which you slip over the running animal's horns. Now, both of these methods can be tricky and not always successful.
We hope to test a new capture method using a helicopter like this to round up buffalo in large numbers and herd them into a capture corral. It promised to be an exciting trip. We flew to Goodparla, located deep in the Outback, 150 miles from the northern coast. We've had good flying weather, navigating by landmarks to find our way across the rugged Outback. This is the heart of buffalo country, and these wooded grasslands harbor other wildlife too. Flying below us, white cockatoos called corellas. You sometimes see them in huge flocks of 10,000 or more. This is the dry season, and wild buffalo gather at the few remaining water holes.
There's our destination, the ranch airstrip on the open ground just beyond the trees. When the heavy rains start, this ground will be too swampy for landing planes or catching buffalo. That can only be done in the dry season. And to make full use of the time we have, we've radioed ahead to the capture team to meet us here.
Lee Grover is the manager of Goodparla Station, and we'll join him and his buffalo catcher, Alan Fisher. Alan's here for the Roundup with his specially equipped capture car, reinforced with side rails and bumper to withstand collisions with trees or charges from angry buffaloes. Alan's guidance will be valuable today because this is our first try at a tail throw capture. We want to compare this conventional method with the helicopter system we plan to test later. These huge termite mounds jut up all over the landscape. They're real hazards during a high-speed chase after a fast-running buffalo because they're hard as rock. We're being observed by a herd of wallabies. These are sandy wallabies, very common here. There's little difference between these animals and kangaroos, except that wallabies are smaller. Sandy wallabies don't usually let you approach this closely, but they're not so timid in large herds like this. When they walk, the tail acts as a fifth leg, helping to balance them. That engine noise broke the spell. They're heading for the bush. We'll move into the trees too, because this is where we're likely to find buffalo seeking shade to escape the 110-degree heat.
There they are, a small herd of females. The idea is to pick one and stay with it until it slows down, dodging trees along the way. To grab her tail must be timed perfectly, an art you only learn with long experience. I'll wait till Alan gives the sign. Alan's keeping us in good position, and the cow's running much more slowly. Just a few feet closer. No use. She's just too fast for me. We'll have to let her go and try for another buffalo. This system is proving to be even more difficult than I thought. In the trees ahead, another large cow. Alan has known these animals to jump right into the car. That's better. She's running again. You've got to respect those bluffs. If she charged us broadside, she could turn the car over. The idea is to keep her moving away from us. Alan didn't say anything about this. Alan's giving me more time than I really want. Those horns are needle sharp. she knows how to use them. So far, I don't seem to have the knack for tail throwing. It's 2-0 in favor of the buffaloes.
We had missed 2 cows, but we were ready to try again. Alan had spotted another group of buffalo in some open timber.
It's too difficult to maneuver in these trees. The only chance is to chase the buffalo out into the open. When they stop and face you like this, a tail throw is impossible. The only chance is when the buffalo is moving forward. The smaller trees we simply run over. It's quite a jolt at 40 miles an hour. Heavy bush. Alan has to dodge trees at the same time he's chasing the buffalo. He's bringing us right behind her. When she tries to turn, that's when you pull the tail. She can't get up without putting her hind legs under her first. So long as I hold one leg up, we can control the animal while she's being tied. With 3 legs tied, she can't stand. And now we can radio back to the waiting transport truck to come and pick the cow up and carry her to the capture stockade. The driver knows our location, so we'll leave the cow here. Tail throwing one of these big animals is difficult and time-consuming. We hope to find a better way to capture the females, and we'll test the new system now.
We're joining up here with a specialist at catching bull buffaloes with a pole lasso. Lynn and Stan will search for the big solitary bulls that roam alone through the bush. Lee and I will leave the others here. Lee to check the large capture corral built for our helicopter herding experiment. I'll ride along with the pilot, Pat Whitnall, who'll need all his flying skill today. Pat flew a scouting trip this morning, and he's found a herd for our experiment. The idea is to use the helicopter to drive the buffalo into a capture corral. The first job is to chase the smaller groups into the main body of the herd. If you stay low and behind them, you can keep them moving in the right direction. So far, the plan seems to be working perfectly. There's no problem driving the buffalo from the air. We've driven the animals into a herd, and now it's just a question of getting them turned around and heading for the capture corral. They're moving along well, and we'll let them set their own pace. It looks like we've got a mixed herd with calves, cows, and immature bulls. These wild buffalo will tame down quickly in captivity, and within 2 weeks, ranch hands at Goodparla will be able to approach the animals in complete safety. But the first job is getting them into that capture corral ahead. We've got a few mavericks that keep bolting from the main herd. The plan is working. They're moving through an opening in the capture corral fence. Once they're all inside, we'll close the fence off behind them. The fence is only burlap, but because the buffalo can't see through it, they assume that it's solid. This capture system works beautifully. It's an efficient way to catch large numbers of cows and calves. But we still have to capture the animals that don't run in herds. The solitary bulls, the biggest and meanest buffaloes of all. We had caught a great many cows. Now it was time to try a capture we knew would be much more difficult, a large bull.
There are 2 bulls in the trees ahead. Lynn will take the first to demonstrate the technique, using a pole lasso with rope 2 inches thick. These are incredibly strong animals, very fast. We're doing close to 50, a speed that makes tree branches and termite mounds as lethal as a brick wall. You loop the outside horn first. Now the inside. Attached to the front of the car, and this is where Alan's great skill really shows. He must drive backward at high speed to stay away from the charging bull. The idea is to pull the buffalo off his feet, but it won't be easy. This animal weighs nearly a ton, and most of it seems to be muscle. The idea is the same as with the cow. Hold the rear leg up. But the bull's a great deal bigger and stronger. It's a rugged system, but there's no better way. A helicopter's useless on animals without the herding instinct. The pole lasso worked well on this animal. And now it's my turn to ride in the catcher's seat. impossible to keep your balance when the car swerves after the buffalo. It would be very easy to fall out while you're trying to stand and hold this heavy pole at the same time. At the last second, you must let loose of the car to handle the lasso. Without the protection of the guardrails and bumpers, the bull could tear the car apart. Alan has him running in circles, but we still can't seem to throw him off balance. But unless we keep the rope taut, he'll get right back up again. Even these big bulls will become domesticated quickly. Later, when they're tame, the buffalo will be let loose to roam their range like cattle, and the sight of a man will no longer frighten them. This is a primitive capture system at best, but I don't know of a better way to catch these solitary animals. The system passes the only test that counts. It works. We've had good luck today. 2 bulls for the transport truck. They'll be carried back to the capture pens to join the other animals we've caught. The truck will be here soon to pick up our buffalo. Animals we've captured in a roundup on the Outback.
Stan and I helped capture many more buffalo at Goodparla, testing each of the 3 capture methods further. The method that was by far the most promising was herding the animals with the helicopter. We made several more flying trips over the wild country of the Outback. And the capture corral was soon filled with water buffalo, wild animals that would one day be domesticated. Our roundup brought us a step closer to the day when the world's herd animals will no longer be threatened as man claims their ranges. The domestication of water buffalo and other animals may be one way to protect the herds from extinction, preserving them so that eventually they might be returned to their rightful place in the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.